Hello everyone. So today we're gonna see how you can create cohorts across the different traffic sources in a way to use them to move your prospects from one stage to the next stage in the pipeline. And why is that important? Because the mindset you need to have to do the demand generation to accelerate that pipeline um, is required. The most advanced demand generation teams or those that don't look at these traffic channels in isolation. You look across the cohorts instead of the traffic sources. You trace the behaviors, you hunt for repeatable signals that tells you what really moves the buyers or the prospects closer to the action that you want them to take. And why does this matter? First of all, why focus on patterns across these cohorts? Because no single metrics will tell you the full story. If you're logged into a specific matrix, you will miss to see the bigger picture of it. And because different channels serves different psychological moments for buyers, and because most teams are reactive to dashboards, not being proactive in building these kind of cohort libraries uh, for them to use as a ready-made way to immediately intel their team on what is moving the needle across the demand generation pipeline. Because predictable growth is not driven by luck or accident, it's driven by these kind of cohorts, and operationalizing them is what makes you to uh, truly transform as a functional marketer rather than a channel dependent marketer. So some of the cohorts, let me give you some of the examples of those cohorts. So before that, the cohorts actually serves the ultimate purpose of showing when it happened, where it happened, why it happened, and how did it happen of your traffic progression in revenue. Um, because different channels create different behaviors. These cohorts analysis aligns demand generation with the reality of your prospects, what is happening across the markets and how it is affecting in your website or in your app or your whatever the medium you are putting trying to get the conversion from. So the cohorts are, how can you build a pattern library of these cohorts? Create a living document tracking high performing paths to conversion. Use annotation on GA4 dashboards. Um, Keep updating them regularly. Run regular cohort comparison analysis to identify emerging patterns. So this cohort pattern libraries turn marketing from guessing games into growth engines, and focusing on demand generation belongs to team who can see the invisible, who can catch the signals that others miss, who can operationalize that what the market is teaching them every single day. Because algorithms evolve, channels can change, but predicting or understanding the human behavior patterns or those timeless things that you can learn as a marketer. And once you learn it, then channels and these algorithm updates or the messaging, everything falls very perfectly, very effortlessly for you. So it's essential to market them, master them as a marketer, and that's where the competitive advantage lives as a marketing professional. Okay, so let's look at one of the interesting cohorts, which is acquisition date cohorts. Acquisition cohorts groups visitors. You can group visitors based on when they first found you. It might sound very basic, but when is the everything in the demand generation pipeline? It's the force that shaping the traffic behavior. Because traffic is not a static thing. Market condition changes because what people cares about evolves over time. Because the prospect on prospect has reached your website before a year, their expectation could have been different from what the prospect has reached today to your website. And because your traffic spike today could behave totally different from the last month's cohorts, And because without a context, you will misread your own data. Ranking could have been dropped, maybe because of its seasonality and not because of the links or the on page optimizations you have done, right? But if without cohort analysis, you will misjudge those things. If the conversion rates dips, maybe the market has been shifted. It's not always because of a competitor popping up, it's not always because of a website going down. So it helps you to take a neutral stand and unbiased way of judging why it is happening. And because when you remember why a cohort behaved in a certain way, you stop reacting emotionally to that data. You start responding strategically. You are better informed of the why behind that shift, right? uh, Types of you can segregate you can segregate the acquisition date cohorts into multiple subdivisions, like cohorts from product launch periods, cohorts during algorithm updates, cohorts during market disruption, cohorts from seasonal search trends. So it would be really interesting to see segregate these kind of cohorts and see how your traffic is behaving, how your prospects are behaving. You can find them on, there is a recent feature that GA4 has introduced. It enables you to annotate the traffic chart. So you can maintain a wins and misses log, a very living document that records what happened each month. Then you can analyze those cohorts by their behavior, time on site, conversion lags, bounce rate trends, all these things. So this SEO, or the whatever the channel that brings that traffic, is not about the keywords, or it's about adding memory to your data, because traffic will come and go, but patterns tell the truth. They show you when your market cared deeply, when your market got a turbulence, and when they did not, right? So yeah, next is the first landing page cohorts. um, if acquisition dates tell you when people arrived, first landing page tells you where they have landed, and where people started their journey. This often defines whether they stay or leave, right? Because first impression set the expectation, because people decide in seconds if you are worth their time or not. They don't care how beautiful your landing page is, they care if it's relevant to their needs, if it is contextual to what they are looking for. um, if a misaligned landing page is being seen by a prospect, it immediately breaks the trust. um, Traffic without trust is a wasted money, right? Landing page decides if curiosity becomes a commitment or not. And you can have a different kind of cohorts within landing page, like for example, pricing page cohorts, how they have different behaved on your website, what are all the pages they are visiting after landed on the pricing page. It could be a fact page or returns policy page cohorts. uh, it could mean that they are trying to verify the trust you have created, whether you are a trustable brand or not. You can have a use case or future specific page cohorts. You can have a blog page cohorts. You are churning out a lot of contents every month, a lot of blog post every month. But but if you create a blog post cohort, you can see that whether your blog posts are influencing in accelerating those prospects into the next stage of the pipeline. They are the early stage researchers, and if you are able to identify them, if you are put them into the pipeline, you can see how many of them are moving into well informed prospects that they are interested in your product. You can use GA4 exploration report segmented by first page traffic, first landing page or landing page dimension plus the source of the traffic. You can track the page level behavior, like scroll depth or bounce rate or engagement time, the number of form fills. All this can all of this you can use. You can also use heat maps to see the real user interactions as well. So not all the pages deserves equal importance, right? The pages people land first on carry disproportionate influence over the pipeline outcomes. Sometimes it's not on your homepage. Sometimes it could be on your returns policy, or it could be even a fact page, or it could be a pricing page. Your job is not just to create these landing pages. Your job is to guide them towards the trust. You have to strategically tell them that what is the next best place to look at, if you are interested in our product, or if you are interested in solving a problem, right, from whenever they start their journey. Landing page cohorts can reveal those kind of invisible pathways. um, so follow them, optimize them, and take action on what could be the best page to guide them towards, right? Okay, so the next thing is, let's me think. Yes. So yeah, so I think we also have to cover another thing called content asset interaction cohorts. I'm sorry, it's missed in the slide, but I think it's definitely an interesting thing to do. Look at it. If acquisition cohorts tell us when people has found us, and landing page tells us where they have started, then the content asset interaction cohorts can tell us what actually keep them engaged. This is the most overlooked layer in most demand generation uh, strategies, because engagement signals intent, right? Without intent, you are just filling your CRM with noise, and you don't know what to do with those contacts. It will just act as a content contact manager rather than a CRM. Your sales team could waste time chasing passive readers instead of active buyers, and they are reaching out to them at the wrong stage, and it could hurt your domain reputation as well. It could lead into a lot of unsubscriptions as well. It could lead to a lot of spam triggers as well, because right content can accelerate the trust dynamic dramatically, because most pipeline ready leads or often leads those who engaged deeply, and not necessarily those who have converted faster. So, right. So type of content assets cohorts to find, I would say, you can have a cohort for those visitors who downloaded high intent guide or PDF. You can create a cohort for webinar viewers versus those who have skimmed through that webinar, who haven't who do not have the patience to watch that webinar in full. You can repeat readers of use case content. Visitor, you can even create a visitor who consumed product related content before converting, and you can see how many of individual uh, product related content, like for example a PDF or a webinar, is helping uh, prospects to move into that sign up or a free demo stage. And so, how can you find them? Map your content assets to funnel stages. Map them into the top of the funnel or middle of the funnel, bottom of the funnel stages. Track content consumption metrics like time on the assets, number of time they have downloaded, how many times they have visited it again. What is the time it took to convert, to move them from just a subscriber or lead to an MQL stage. You can identify acceleration patterns as well, which content shorten the sales cycle or improve the readiness. So, there, I would say, in the age of content overload, most assets might get ignored, and some of the contents could cut through that noise. They are not always the sexiest content. They could be useful, hyper relevant, specific content, and it could even be a page. And by using this content cohorts, you can know like what kind of contents you should be creating next, or what kind of content is not working for you, to help them move into the next pipeline stage. And yeah, so the next is post conversion. I think, I'm sorry, that's also missed on this slide, but no worries, I could go on through it. Post conversion behavior cohorts, these are the cohorts who filled out the form. They have clearly shown an interest, but conversion is not the commitment, right? They are doing the micro conversion, and macro conversion is still is not in their interest. And um, because the middle zone between lead generation and closed won deals is where the pipeline lives, or it simply dies out. Conversion is not the finish line. It could be a permission for them, permission that your prospect is telling you that, okay, I am interested in your product, what's next. um, it could tell you that when is the right moment to celebrate those form fills. And this, as I said, this is where the drop offs quietly happen. It could destroy or it could accelerate the pipeline fastly if taken with, if strategically look into, right. Um if you lose people at this stage, you have wasted everything you have invested in that acquisition. um, and the cost per acquisition goes really high. So you can create some cohorts like leads disappearing after educational contents, after downloading the educational contents, leads stalling after gated content downloads, um, high if there are some high engagement email sequences that could producing faster SQLs, sales ready leads consuming specific pages. So these can be the cohorts you can use for identifying post conversion leads cohorts, right? And you can track this engagement in your CRM. You can set up reports that identify the drop off points in your nurture sequences, where exactly they lose interest, where exactly their interest spikes up. You can use lead scoring models weighted towards their behavior, not just demographics or firmographics. See, conversion is just a permission to earn the trust, permission to guide them forward to the next stage. Post conversion cohorts teach you what exactly nurtures belief, not noise, right? Not automation, not but the human first and outcome driven content. This is where the pipeline ends its strength or loses its ever. So it's very crucial to optimize your pipeline for the post conversion behaviors. Yep. So the next cohorts is that the PPC cohorts. It could also be a keyword cohorts. You can say those are those visitors who arrive because you have paid for their attention. Um, you have been shown into their feed or their search experience, and that's why they behave differently. They came for the promise in your ad. Maybe like because you are spending out some money, your PPC team or performance marketing team can have a headline that shoots up their expectation, creates a clickbait. um, but now the real question is that do you deliver on that promise? Because paid traffic burns the budget faster, and it's unlike other channels. You can easily burn money at really high speed. Cheap clicks often leads to expensive churns later on in the funnel. uh, the I, it's common that the noise, the competition, the shouting, everything is very high when it comes to PPC, because attention doesn't equal engagement, right? That's the matter. I mean, that's what the end of the day tells us. Because aligning the promise that you have, that your ad has shown to them, with the post click experience improves conversion dramatically. And instead of trying to get more clicks, instead of trying to increase the click through rate, you will end up attracting a lot of wrong type of people into your landing page, and that could really hurt the the ads algorithms to wrongly predict your market. Here it's not about buying traffic, it's about buying the time to earn their trust. And you can create cohorts like how the brand people coming from brand search versus the non-brand search visitors are behaving. High intent keyword cohorts. You can create cohorts for campaign specific cohorts, like for example how the people coming in from LinkedIn PPC is reacting versus how people coming in from Google display ads are behaving. You can create cohorts for people who have engaged with your video explainers or the interactive tools. So segment PPC traffic cohorts by campaign type or demographic or firmographic. Track post-click behaviors, how much of the time they have spent on your sites, how many pages they have visited per session, what are all the content they have interacted. Then you can analyze post-conversion engagement as well. How many? I mean, what is the open rate of the email, or the reply, or the prospects replying to your email, or the booking a call, booking a call for clarifying their question or showing their interest. So see, buying attention is easy. Buying trust is the most hardest part. And this cohorts reminds that Demand generation is about flooding your funnel with very cheap leads. It's about designing every touch points from ad copy, to the CTA, to the landing page. Um, it should respect the buyer's time, it should feed their curiosity, it should match their intent, because paid traffic is powerful, at the same time it is also extremely costly. But if it only moves people beyond that curiosity into genuine engagement, that's how you get the ROI of the amount you have spending on the paid channel, right? Okay, and now let's see the referral cohorts. Referral cohorts or visitors, um, who arrive not because of your ads or search engines, right? But because someone already have vouched for you. Someone already, you have been in someone else's place where the prospects already have some trust over there, and this is the traffic that shows up through the trust transfers. You are essentially transferring the trust that they have seen you on a someone else website, and then the trust is transferring onto you. It could be from partners, it could be from media mentions, it could even be from customer reviews, or let's say you are posting some thread on our community forum, it could be coming in from the signature of your thread, that they have found your thread really helpful for the problem, and they have decided to take a look on your website that has been linked on your signature. And because trust brought them here, right, they behave differently, unlike the other cohorts I have mentioned. They are arriving with the clear expectations. They have some context already known about you. Okay, here the trust is created at the source and not on your website. Because for instance, let's say you are a HubSpot expert, and you have created a you have answered someone's query on HubSpot community, and you have your signature over there, and someone liked your answer, and they found your answer to give them the solution they wanted for, and now they are taking a look at your signature and coming into your website. So the trust belongs to that source, not to you, right? So this mismatch between the expectation and the experience breaks that momentum. You have to be very mindful about where you are taking them to, based upon the source that you have been shown for them already. Okay, so if you are taking them from the HubSpot signature, you need to ensure that the landing page also delivers your experience or expertise about HubSpot, and not just a generic CRM consultant. So, because referral cohorts converts fastest when the message stays consistent across their journey. Referral traffic is, we can also say it's a trust borrowed, and trust mishandles opportunity lost. So let's say take a look at what are all the types of referral cohorts to find visitors from partner sites. For instance, you have strategically created a co-marketing campaign at different partner sites. You can have a cohort specially created for those partner sites. You can have visitors from different product review platforms, visitors from media mentions, visitors from customer advocacy, or guest contents, in fact. So you can segment this referral traffic by source and GA4. You can track the engagement metrics like what is the bounce rate, what is the conversion rate per source. For instance, if people are coming in from Trustpilot page, you can have a dimension created especially for those people coming in from Trustpilot, or they moving to a demo request page, or they are booking a demo request or not. All these type of things you can create a dedicated landing page for high value referral sources. If you are able to find out a clear distinction that this particular source is bringing you a very high engagement, we can start considering create a new landing page for that. So see, all of these are possible that you only if you are creating a cohort for that. If you're not having a channel, if you're not having a spirit report that shows you the behavior or the engagement of this specific cohort, you miss an opportunity to further accelerate that pipeline, right? Referral traffic is not just another acquisition channel, it's a paid traffic for interest. And that means your job as a marketer is not to convince them, it's to honor the reputation of that source that brought them here. Referral cohorts teach us that experience consistency is everything. You speak their language, continue the context or the journey from where they have come, and guide them effortlessly into your conversion pathways. Because the brand that treat the borrowed trust is like a gold for the brands people return to again and again. Okay. So let's look at the social media cohorts. Social media cohorts are the perhaps the most unpredictable visitors you will get. They did not search for you. They did not plan to find you. They may not even be in that affinity market. They were just scrolling, right? They were just browsing into their feed, and they landed on your page out of some curiosity. You manage to create some curiosity out of them. Sometimes it could happen by an accident as well if they are moving across the feed. So they were browsing, and somehow they have a higher chance of ending up into your market space after like 3 or 6 months. um, and that's why their behavior wildly different from SEO or paid cohorts, because they bring attention at scale. In social media, we know that the attention is fleeting and people forget very quickly on the things that they are looking at. These visitors need a stronger journey to move from curiosity to commitment, and that cannot be happen with a very short time frame. Because the right content layering, you can create a path from casual interest into real engagement. Because brand visibility without behavioral depth doesn't build demand. The cohorts of the patterns you are finding out of the cohorts can do that engagement. So let's take a look at what are the kind of cohorts you can create for social media. You can create different cohorts for organic social traffic versus paid social ads traffic. You can create a separate cohorts for platforms like LinkedIn, Twitter, or Instagram. You can create cohorts for content types. Content, what is that content type? Like for example, you can create a cohort for thought leadership post. You can create a cohort for community driven content, and you can create how these two different type of cohorts are behaving. And please don't forget to use the UTM tags in order to differentiate these two type of cohorts. And you can even create a cohort for remarketing audience from social campaigns as well. So how to find them? Segment the cohorts in GA4 by social platforms and content types. Track depth of engagement, how many times they have visited repeatedly, time on the site, what are the types of content they are consuming. You can identify which content types moves people towards the maybe subscribing to a newsletter, or downloading a resource that you are putting up as a gated content, or exploring your product. So most brands actually scream for the attention on social media, but very few can earn retention. Social cohorts are like the demand generation is not a very linear thing to do. Nobody goes from a meme to demo request overnight, right? And that's a very common sense. Your content has role, and some content can entertain, some content can educate, some content can convert. The smartest brands, of course, they know which game they are playing at any given moment. If you are putting up something to entertain, do it deliberately. If you're putting up something to educate, do it deliberately. But give them a clear direction to go from one to the other. And that's what we need to do as a marketer, very intentionally and very deliberately. Cohort analysis, this kind of cohort analysis turns noises into signals, and signal into strategy, and finally the strategy into the pipeline acceleration. Perfect. So now I want to add up one more cohort, like the email and retargeting cohorts. Um, they are they are those who are not new to you. They are actually coming back. They have seen your name before. They have clicked somewhere before you. They have clicked on your website somewhere before. They 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 fundamentally they remember your brand, and that the familiarity shifts everything about your behavior, because strangers needs convincing, but familiar faces needs clarity and needs some clarification to be cleared upon to move them to the next stage, right? uh, because marketing is not about first impressions alone, right? It's about staying the power. um, Pipeline health is driven by returning visitors who are closer to buying. You will treat everyone like a stranger without this kind of cohorts, and without familiarity is a leak bucket. Acquisition wins attention, but familiarity wins trust, right? So there are some cohorts you can create for this kind of email and retargeting cohorts, which is like returning visitors from nurture emails. How many are returning to your website from the nurture emails? Retargeting ad audiences who engaged with your assets in the past, repeat site visitors who viewed your product pages or pricing page, visitors who consumed multiple content pieces across touch points. So you can segment the first time versus returning visitors in GA4. You can track audiences separately, like how much of the depth of their visits, conversion rates, contents viewed. You can even use lead scoring models that reward behavioral signals like content consumption, repeated site visits, and webinar attentions, etc. So see, demand generation is not just a game of discovery; it's a game of memory. And this email and retargeting codes tells you if your brand stayed relevant long enough for someone to recall and come back willingly. And that's the heartbeat of sustainable pipeline. Not just finding the new people, of course, that's important as well, but staying valuable enough to be remembered. That's even more important. Familiarity moves people closer to action at every step of the pipeline. And this is where the true demand generation gives you the compounding effect, not in the first click, but in the returning visits. In that pattern of trust is actually something that is built over time, right? Okay, let's look at direct traffic cohorts. Direct traffic cohorts are the visitors that show unprompted, no ad, no referral, no search query. They type their URL or they come directly from a bookmark or searched your brand name because it stayed with them, right? This is one of the purest signal of brand equity in demand generation, because nobody told them to visit you, they choose to with their free will. And real call is something very rare, and that we need to treat it very valuably as a valuable asset. These cohorts often skip the awareness phase. They arrive to do something very clear that they are going to do. The Because the more direct traffic grows, the less dependent you are on paid acquisition channels. And because direct traffic is the ultimate validation that your demand generation efforts worked together to create that brand gravity. And let's Yeah, so you can create cohorts like first time direct visitors versus returning direct visitors. You can create cohorts like direct visitors consuming the bottle of funnel content, direct visitors referred by word of mouth or offline channels, customers returning for new products or services. You can do that in GA4 into first time versus returning visitor. Track content engagement, product pages, pricing pages, or even demo requests. Monitor the visit frequency and the speed to conversion for direct traffic cohorts. Direct traffic is something something is you cannot buy, and something you earn. You do it slowly and consistently through every channel working together. Direct traffic cohorts tells the story of how much matured your brand is, of how much is the reputation you have built over time, how much trust you have earned over time. If SQO is your discovery, PPC is the speed, and you create curiosity on socials, then direct traffic is gravity. And direct traffic doesn't happen on its own. It's the compounding traffic that comes with the other channels that we have discussed earlier. Okay, the pull of a brand worth in coming back to, and that's the highest compliment any marketing team can read. So here is what I mean. I think we have covered most of the uh, type of traffic sources here. So here's what you want to remember: demand generation is not about more and more traffic. It's not about prettier dashboard to create. It's about the clarity you bring to the team, that you can immediately say that if a prospect or if a visitor has done these things, then they will never be doing this thing. Or you can say the vice versa: if they have done these things, they will definitely be moving forward to this thing. They have a 90% chance of moving to the next pipeline stage in that journey. about seeing uh, about building systems that learn from every visitors, every behavior, every conversion journey. So cohort pattern libraries are not just an analytical exercise, they are your competitive advantage, in fact, right? They turn marketing teams from just a content producers into a growth marketer. They help you stop chasing spikes and start finding the patterns, cohorts, and start building the systems that compound over time. And I think this is the skill set for that is very much required for most modern marketers: pattern recognition, behavioral insight, and learning strategically from those inputs. Because traffic can fade over time, and rankings can shift over time, channels can also change, and you become suddenly you become less dependent on some channels, suddenly you become highly dependent on some other channels. But brands that know how to turn this behavior into systems, though I think those are all the brands that could sustainably um, live for a longer period of time. For instance, you may have heard after the ChatGPT release or AI overuse, Chegg has lost 90 percentage of the traffic. But if they have a list of cohorts that they can but they can say for sure that these people will bring in their conversion or bring in the business they require. I think it could have avoided such a deep damage, right? So yeah, I think that's it for this week, and I hope this is a useful thing for you. And if you have any questions or things, please put it on the comments. See you in the next video. Thank you, guys. Bye.